Okay, I have my friend Amber here, and she is going to share her story with us. So I'll kind of share a little bit about how Amber and I met. Mike and I had just really become truly in relationship with Christ early in our marriage, and then we moved to another suburb of Chicago, and we started attending an Assemblies of God church in Palos Heights, and called the Stone Church, and started volunteering with the youth. And little did they know,
we had no idea.
We were brand new baby believers, and they ended up really teaching us more than we probably taught them. But it was a mutual investment.
Yes,
it was a mutual investment. So
y'all became like my leaders. Like I claimed you as mine.
Exactly. Yeah. So okay, Amber, share with us a little bit about the spiritual. I mean, obviously you were in church as a kid. What was the environment of the home you grew up in spiritually?
I grew up in a Christian home. Mm-hmm. We went to church. My dad was definitely the spiritual head of our family. Every morning I saw him reading the Bible, praying. My mom read at night. I just blanked.
Yeah. So you a Christian home. Another thing about Amber is that she was adopted at birth, so she was raised from birth by the parents that she calls mom and dad now, but she was adopted.
Yes, I was.
So, how did that affect your spiritual journey as a kid or teenager?
As a kid, I don't think it affected it as much. As I grew up and I started to really understand and even have issues, not with being adopted, but with the toll it took on my life. Love became a very conditional thing, how I perceived love. And so I didn't understand how God could love me when these people that were supposed to, by role, by mother, by father, show that. And then I grew up in a home where it felt as though love was conditional. So birth mother didn't want me. That's how I viewed it for a long time.
And what age did you find out that you were adopted?
It was just a part of, I don't remember being sat down and told. It was just very open.
You knew. Okay.
We just knew. I appreciate that. I appreciate not having that
jarring
moment. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
But it's been a part of being adopted, and is definitely a part of my identity, and has dictated or directed how things have gone throughout my life.
Okay. So we obviously met you as a teenager. You were actively pursuing Christ, so you were in relationship with him in those years. And then you went away to college. Did you keep up with your relationship with Christ?
Yes and no at first. I think in high school it was a lot about being involved at church, and I neglected to build that relationship with Christ. And then I went away to school, and I came back, and I was hurt by the church because I didn't fit right back in. And because I hadn't built that relationship with Christ, it was more about being involved in church. And you already had
this background identity questioning thing going on.
Yes.
So you come back, the church doesn't look the same. Everybody doesn't run up to you and hug you. It feels
another rejection.
It feels like rejection.
Rejection, I take very heavily. And that's something that God has worked on with me over the years. So that, at 18, 19, it was still something I was very much dealing with.
Yeah.
And so it definitely pulled me away. I connected being involved with church with my relationship with God, which they're not separate, but they are. Right. I needed to build my relationship with God, not be fed by church.
That's really powerful, because there's people that are in church for decades that still expect to be spoon-fed. So you, in your college years and early 20s, you went through kind of a dark season.
Yes.
Can you just share a little bit about what that looked like?
It didn't happen overnight. It was gradual. Oh, I'm 21, I can start drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend smokes, I'm gonna smoke. Oh, I really want this boy's attention, and I can keep it by having sex. And starting to live a life that didn't reflect.
It was like a slippery, one decision at a time.
I suffered from depression, anxiety, which I think played into it, and played into feeding. I need attention.
And
It's gonna bring me that high of, oh, I'm loved for today, or oh, things are okay.
Yeah.
So it increased until.
So it's like it filled that void, and then you would kind of beat yourself up, like after you did things.
Yeah. I think the lowest point was when I voluntarily hospitalized myself.
Okay. And how old were you?
27.
And what led up to that? What were you feeling or dealing with that said, I need to get help?
That lack of love that I had felt. I became very codependent upon someone in my life, and that relationship just spiraled. For me, I felt like I always had to be around that person. If they weren't right there, I was rejected, which led to self-harm. Self-harm is something I've dealt with throughout my life, but it escalated at that point. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Okay. So you voluntarily went to a mental hospital to get help, and what were they able to offer you?
They medicated me. That was kind of their only go-to. I was over-medicated. It was supposed to be a few days stint, and they kept me 12 days. I wouldn't say that was when my aha moment happened. It was definitely in an outpatient setting.
It was kind of like a something needs to change kind of thing.
It was my rock bottom to now I'm coming out of it. I'm decreasing medication because I was on too many, and being able to think clearly and think for myself again. And me being like, I can't do this. No matter how far in the world I got, God was always like right here. Throughout my time being away, one of my closest friends came to Christ. I bought her first Bible while I was drinking the night before.
Wow. It's amazing how God can still use us, even, and scripture talks about, I knew you from the time that you were formed in your mother's womb. He knows us. He's calling us his own before we know it, Okay, so you were living in Texas, and you had this kind of rock bottom moment, and you went into the mental hospital. Around that time in our life, we were moving back to Illinois. You decided to move back to Illinois. And so we were about a half an hour apart from each other, and it was beautiful because when she was in college in Missouri, we were in Tulsa, and we were able to connect. And so, you came when Mike had one of his surgeries and looked after the kids. So we've really stayed in touch. So, anyways, here you are going, something needs to change. So your step for that was, let's go closer to home. And so you ended up in southern Wisconsin. And so what did that rebuilding look like?
It was repenting of what I had done, seeking forgiveness, and changing my life and changing lifestyle, building that foundation again. That part of it was there, but it needed to be worked on, and getting into the word, getting into a prayer life, getting in a church without jumping into ministry. Because I needed to just be with God and grow with God, and I couldn't pour out to someone because I needed to be poured into, which was very humbling. Because growing up in church, and growing up in a church where they knew my dad and my grandma, you're known.
You have your own identity.
So just being was where I needed to be.
Figuring yourself out. So you kind of started to come back into a relationship with God, and then you are in ministry now. And so it's amazing how you went from this world of, identity crisis, self-harm, anxiety, depression, meds, no longer medicated, to serving God and building into the kingdom. You want to tell us a little bit about that ministry and how they're reaching people?
At 16, I got involved with Royal Family Kids Camp, which is a worldwide organization that a church sponsors a camp for children who have been abused and neglected in the foster care system. That's what started me on the trajectory of going into social work for my career. And this last summer, after being gone for 7-8 years, I volunteered back with Royal Family through my church.
Cool.
And I stepped in as the social worker. I was asked to be the social worker, and then after camp, I've been asked to step into the directorship position.
Really cool.
So I'll be going to training to learn how to equip a camp and run a camp so that we can reach and really try to prevent the destruction that can happen with the lives of foster children.
Prevent them from going into sex
trafficking, drugs, homelessness,
all of it.
Really building that adult relationship, that adult safe relationship.
How perfect for
in
you
Christ,
after
right?
your journey. Isn't that how God works? So I just want to close with you getting the opportunity. If there's someone out there that you can speak to that has dealt with some of the same struggles, adoption, identity, self-harm, any of that, anxiety, depression, how could you encourage them today?
Through God, you're enough. God loves you. And that's hard to accept. And I think, but it's there. We don't have to earn it. We don't have to. We can come in our brokenness and it's okay. And through him, he will bring holiness and he will wipe us clean. Yeah. But you can just come. And he's going to love you.
Meet you where you're at. That's exactly, and that's the scriptures tell us that no one is worthy. No one is righteous, not even one. So guilt and shame are from the enemy. They're not from God. Nothing that you have done is bad enough to separate you from the love of God. No valley too deep, no mountain too high, no drug too bad, right?
But that coming, I think, is the hardest part. Is just
letting go.
Trusting. Because once you allow God to start moving, there's still difficulties, but he's there with you. But saying, okay, God, I'm here. I'm going to accept your love. I'm repenting for forgiveness, but just allowing him to love you, that was the hardest part for me. And that's something that I still grow with. Is just accepting that love. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to, it's just there. And then I seek him as well in that relationship.
So if this story has impacted you, or if you have any questions, we just want to encourage you to leave a comment. Amber will watch too, the string, and you're not alone. No. And you're loved, and you watched this for a reason today. Okay, thanks.